Alright guys, I made it to Summit. About to go inside and purchase a couple $100 in fittings. Just AN fittings. Let me take this this fuel rail with me. I got the wrong fuel rail. It's the candy shop right here. Hi. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
I have to grab my mask, guys. But now, let's go around and pick up. No, you know what? I should go to sales first. All right, guys. So, mandatory face mask in the building. But almost got everything, and then get out of here. But look, check this place out. They got everything. This is the candy shop for all your car stuff. Look, they even got RC stuff. RCs. Alright guys, I got a laundry list of stuff walking out the candy store here. See you guys at the house. We'll go over everything. What's up guys? As you see, I got a slew of parts here, and yeah, it's definitely time to get busy. But if you guys have not subscribed to this channel yet, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button, because I actually have a really big, surprise for all of you guys, when this project is complete. I got a big announcement to make about this car. And yeah, without further ado though, let's get into all this goodness that's on the table. So, a few months ago, I did unboxing with all the parts that I had already purchased and put on the car. Now, several $1,000s later, it's time to do another unboxing of multiple parts. This car is getting nothing but the best parts, premium parts, no expenses, spared parts, not cutting any corners with this build. So as you can see, we got a bunch of Radium stuff over here. We got some Vibrant stuff over here. But yeah, let's go through the entire thing. Let me pull a lot of this stuff out the box and then, show you guys what's actually here. Alright guys, so finally I got all these things out the boxes, out the packages, and got them all laid out for you guys. It did take a while because it's just a ton of stuff. So let's go from the left side of the table. Well, your right, my left. We're going to make our way over to the right side of the table and what's going on. So first of all, I want to say shout out to Radium for making, they make some awesome, fuel parts, but they really know how to package an item extremely well. And I'll tell you that because every single one of these Radium items that I have over here are in some very large boxes, and they're not even that big. So let me just put this intercooler down real quick here. So this entire large box, all that it consists of is just the fuel rail, the Radium fuel rail. Now, this is one of the latest fuel rails from Radium for the 2JZ application. It's actually one of the best because you could have fuel delivery from, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 spots to get, fuel delivery from this. So this is really awesome. So you can run your lines however you want. It's a very expensive piece, so they did put it in a pretty big box. So thank you, Radium. If you're watching this, shout out to you. So this is the fuel rail I'm going to be going with. So just continue on with, show you guys. This is the intercooler that I'm going to be going with, and this is a Treadstone Treadstone, I believe, is the 1240. This is rated at 850 horsepower. So you already know we're going to be making some big power, and this intercooler is definitely going to handle anything that I'm ready to throw at this car. Yeah, I mean, you know, can't go wrong. It has a 4-inch core. This thing is massive, and it fits perfectly in front of the E46 M3. So continuing on with some of the fuel stuff is I have this Radium. This basically just clamps and mounts the fuel pump inside it's a fuel pump holder, because you need this whenever you're putting certain fuel pumps, which I'm going to go over inside the E46 M3. So this is the fuel pump that I'm going to be going with. This fuel pump is actually out of, this is for a Hellcat, and this is rated, I want to say this was rated at about 800 to 900. This will be able to handle the power and the fuel delivery that I am going to throw at this car. So I was going to go with the AEM because I have three AEM pumps inside the LSM3. But this Hellcat, this should be able to give me, you know, 700-800 horsepower with ease, that fuel pump. Next thing is these connectors, and as you can see, they come in this huge box. Each of them come in this huge box from Radium. So Radium really know how to gift things. And here I am dropping $60 fittings. So these fittings are really unique, and what I like about these fittings and why, you know, I actually spent the extra money to get these particular fittings is because these are for the valve cover from Radium. I don't know if you guys can see those, but if you can't, come a little bit closer. And these swivel. What I like about the fact that they swivel is you can swivel these 360 degrees with no issues, no leaks, and you know, they look really good on the valve cover of the 2JZ. So I do have one for the intake side and one for the exhaust side. Next up, we got the fuel pressure regulator. Fuel pressure regulator, also from Radium, and fuel filter, also from Radium. And the beautiful thing about this kit from Radium for the E46 M3, this fuel pressure regulator and filter kit, it actually converts my fuel setup to an AN, because I am going to be converting the entire fuel system to an AN fitting, because AN looks a lot better. It's nicer, and I mean, you're going to do all this other nice stuff, might as well do AN fittings and AN fuel lines. So this is gonna be a nice touch as well. Coming over here, these are DW for fuel injectors. These are DW fuel injectors. Correct me if I'm not pronouncing this correctly, but they're called Dietzworks. I believe that's how to pronounce it. And I am going with 1200 cc injectors. So 1200 cc injectors will definitely deliver the fuel that I need through this fuel pump, and will definitely give me the fuel that I need to get 700+ horses out of this competition E46 M3. So yeah, it's gonna be nice to have, you know, to not get fuel starvation and get enough fuel due to having premium injectors. Here we have the wastegate and we have the blow-off valve. Both of these are from TurboSmart. So this wastegate is the TurboSmart Motorsport wastegate, which is supposed to be, actually, I did a lot of homework on this, and it's one of the best wastegates on the market, period. I mean, at a price tag at just about $500, it better be. You know, it does have a heat sink here to, you know, dissipate heat. If you don't have this being water cooled, you don't have to water cool this. You could just have this connected regular without being water cooled due to the heat sink. So that's great. you know, top of the line wastegate. And to complement that, you have to go with the top of the line blow-up valve from Turbo Smart as well. This blow-up valve is one of the smallest, best blow-up valves. I did a lot of homework, asked a lot of questions, did a lot of research on this particular blow-up valve from Turbo Smart Raceport. So yeah, this will be a great addition for that to go along with that wastegate. Moving over here to the center, this is the what's their name? PCM. This is the PCM shifter from Drift HQ. Sorry guys, Drift HQ. Shout out to those guys. Those guys are like family. They helped me out a lot with my LS E46 M3, and they have been helping me out with getting parts on the fly for this car and any other parts that I need. So guys, if you do need anything, hit up those guys down in Florida at Drift HQ. Like I said, that's family. So this shifter, you know, it's just a nice piece. You know, it's a nice piece. You know, center and shifter. It clamps on the body. This piece separated clamps on the body, and yeah, I mean that's gonna look awesome once I install that in the car. Moving over to the center here. Again, this came from Drift HQ, but it is actually made by SLG. This is to convert the E46 6-bolt pattern drive shaft into a 4-bolt pattern drive shaft. This is that conversion part. I do have the front piece that I went over with in an earlier video with you guys, but I had to get the back of the drive shaft that hooks up to the differential. So that's what this piece is. It's a nice lightweight billet one-piece piece. So yeah, if you want to run like a one-piece drive shaft, which I'm going to be running a one-piece race drive shaft in this M3, you're going to need one of these adapters. And this is from 22 RPD. I haven't particularly heard of this company, but this is a piece that was recommended to me by Drift HQ. This was a piece that I needed anyway. So instead of getting a DSSR, which is double shear selector rod, for my shifter, I went with one of these, which are custom made by this company, 22nd Race Product Development. They're up in Washington, I believe, but Drift HQ is a distributor for them. So I did purchase this part specifically through Drift HQ. And what this selector rod is, it's the perfect length. It's a custom length selector rod. So when you do a swap, like an LS swap or 2JZ or whatever the case may be, and when you put the adapter plate in from PCM, you then need to get a shorter selector rod. So this shorter selector rod will hook up to here and the back of the transmission, and I should be able to get nice crisp shifts with this. And fresh out of Canada, we got the guys up there, Grassroots Racing. They do a lot of drifting. I don't do drifting, but Grassroots Racing does have some great parts for race application. This is my oil cooler. I already have the oil cooler sandwich plate hooked up on the motor right now, but this is the oil cooler. I believe it was 20, I want to say 20 fins. And yeah, you know, this should definitely give me all the coolant that I need for the oil. To the center, we got some more nice shiny parts. Of course, top brand, Vibrant. So this is a Vibrant oil catch can. What I like about this catch can, I was gonna go with one of the cheaper catch cans that are like, you know, you see some on like eBay or something like 50 bucks, 60 bucks. But then I was like, one, I don't want no super cheap parts on this car, because when I do reveal what the surprise I got for you guys, I want you guys to know that only the best is on this car. And I went with this Vibrant part because it has a nice baffle up top here, you know, a nice baffle breather. There's a breather and there's a baffle system inside. There has a drain plug down here to drain your oil. And you have your two inlets, which are going to be perfect, and they're both 10 AN already. So this is definitely going to be a nice piece once mounted under the hood for an oil catch can option. Moving over to the center. So here we have, I took a ride down to Summit Racing. Shout out to Summit, not too far from my home. I love those guys because they always, Summit Racing. If you know anything about racing, they got everything. So I went there on a shopping spree for all fuel line fittings and just all the fittings that I'm going to need to complete this build. So as you can see, I have all my fuel parts here. I have some, the catch can here. So I needed lines and fittings. These are the adapter pieces for these are block offs. These are block offs for the fuel rail because I'm not going to be using all 4 ports on this fuel rail. I only need 1 port. So for the other 3 ports, I do have 3 block offs from Summit Racing that I'm going to be installing on there. Then I have vibrant hoses. So these are vibrant performance hoses, and these are E45 rated, and yeah, it's vibrant. E85 fuel, you can pretty much push anything through these hoses from Vibrant. And to complement the Vibrant hoses, I have all Vibrant AN fittings. I got some 90s here, got some 90s, 180 fittings. These are all the fittings that I'm going to need to adapt all these things. And then I did purchase this nice vice clamp from Vibrant. It wasn't too expensive. It was probably about 15 bucks. And what this does is basically keep my AN fittings from getting marred up. So these are going to be perfect. Moving over here, we got another nice piece. Shout out to the guys over at Chase Bays. If you guys, know about the engine bay getting cleaned up real nice, then Chase Bays does the job with cleaning up an engine bay. So this is the Chase Bay, the 2JZ into the E46 M3. Oh man, brain fart, guys. This is the reservoir kit for the power steering. So normally if you didn't go with something like this, which is nice and neat, the power steering could get a little bit, clunky and just a little bit wacky, hooking everything up with the stock stuff. And then again, you can also get leaks too. But with the Chase Bay power steering pump kit, this thing is going to be clean, it's going to be seamless, and it's just going to look good. You know what I mean? Like, I also want this engine bay to really look good when completed. This is just another empty box from Vibrant because they love to put small pieces in big boxes. And last but not least, guys, I have some coolant IT from Thermaltech. So I did paint the galleyway. I put some paint back on the galleyway when I had to open it up for the transmission to fit properly in the galleyway of the engine bay. But I did want to get some thermal protection to just wrap around that entire galleyway because it was empty, and I don't want the additional heat or anything like that coming in the car, from the engine or the engine bay through the metal. So I got this. I'm going to put this on the walls of the engine bay just to make sure that I keep as much heat out as possible. Yeah, I think that's it. That's it for all the pieces I have here now. So what I'm going to get started with now is actually, I'm going to get started with the fuel. I'm going to get the fuel pump into the car, start running the lines for the fuel pressure regulator and the filter, build those lines out, and then next week I gotta kind of get a few things done, because next week what I'm gonna do is, since I have the intercooler, since I got the intercooler, blow-off valve, wastegate, all that stuff, this car is going in for fabrication. So some of you may know, some of you may not. I do not have a welder here. I don't weld. I mean, I could weld if I really wanted to, but I have too many other things to bother with to learn how to weld right now. So I am going to be outsourcing the welding to a good friend who actually did my custom piping for the LS M3. I mean, I know exactly what I'm going to get because their work was, I mean, superior on the LS E46 M3. So they're going to be doing a custom exhaust for this car, and they're going to be doing all the intercooler piping for this car as well down in Florida. I'm just going to bring it down there, be down there for probably about a week, and then bring it back up, finish things up here in-house. So guys, listen, if you have not subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button, because like I said, I got a really good surprise coming for you guys at the end of this build of this 2JZ E46 competition package 2005 BMW M3. So guys, listen, until next time, thank you, peace, and continue to watch this build. All right.